Hi, welcome back to the Weekly Why. The internet's been exploding the last couple of days with a video called Making the Bus Monitor Cry. It's got at least 2 million views now. Basically what happens, you have a 68-year-old woman in New York State, and basically she is a bus monitor, and for 10 minutes she receives a string of invectives and profanity and curse and hatred and all this from these kids who sound like they're maybe 8 or 10 years old. And it shocked people. It's got a couple million views, and now they've all these people have now raised $400,000 to help let this woman retire, take her on a fancy vacation, basically get her away from all these little monsters. And so what's really interesting is that you read some of the comments and you hear a lot of the reaction. This is huge news on the news, huge viral video, and the responses are just just complete hatred against the children. And it's certainly understandable to really feel a visceral response to this, but certainly from a Jewish perspective, that's obviously not the solution. Not only is it not the solution, it's not even really going to achieve much satisfaction. And so I think ultimately, to take an instance as this and to say, how can we take this and turn this into a positive, even though we don't know this person, we've never met her, we never will meet her, we'll never meet any of these people involved in this. This is really repulsive and frustrating, and, what do we do about it other than just, saying, oh, the world's going to hell in a handbasket? It's not the case. I want to start with a pasuk, a verse from the book of Psalms, Tehillim, chapter 34. It says the following: Who is the man who desires life, who loves days to see goodness? Guard your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceitfully. In other words, don't do evil. Now, most of us can look at that video and say, of course I'm not that person. I would never be that person who would totally mock a child's suicide to a 68-year-old mother and say these horrible things. But there's more to it than that. There's two sides of the coin here. There's doing evil, and there's also doing good. And if we don't do evil, we refrain from doing evil, that's good, but that's not doing good, right? It's simply not doing evil. And of course the chapter continues. Shun evil, in other words, avoid evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. Okay? And the commentator Rashi, when he says pursue it, the psalm, Rashi says it means everywhere. Everywhere. In other words, no matter where you are, no matter when you are, no matter what your circumstances are, you have to pursue peace anywhere and everywhere. And so what that basically means is that it's not good enough for us simply to not do evil. In other words, there were 5 people on that bus saying terrible things. Well, that wasn't me, but it's not good enough to turn around and say, well, how good I am that I didn't do that. We have to turn around and we have to seek peace and we have to do good things. We learn from the book of Kohelet, the book of Ecclesiastes, that light overpowers dark. It says wisdom excels foolishness as far as light excels darkness. In other words, that it's not these people who are going to win. There's 2 million of us who are watching and looking at this and saying the world is turning to hell in a handbasket. We let them win. We let this kind of destructiveness become powerful. The idea is that we're supposed to take the lesson here from Ecclesiastes, from King Solomon. We're supposed to take it from the writer David, from Tehillim. We're supposed to take it from this wisdom. We're supposed to understand that we are not simply supposed to avoid doing evil. We are supposed to actively bring light to the world. As Lubavitcher Rebbe said, a single candle brings a lot of light. And so I think that the take-home lesson we need to take from instances such as this is not simply to turn around and say, well, this is a terrible thing that's happened, let me turn around from that and avoid doing that myself. The point is that we need to turn around and say, what am I doing specifically to make this world a better place and to prevent these things from happening to the people I know and I care about? And so if we look at this and we're impacted and we say, it's a terrible thing, go home and take a pad of paper and say, 3 things that I'm going to do for my neighbors, for my friends, and for my family. So one of each that's going to be positive, and that's going to make their day better. And that, my friends, is going to make the world a better place and is going to do rectification. It took on fix for what people like this do. It's not about sitting there saying these people are terrible. It's about making a rectification and fixing the problems, not just not doing that same problem. Again, that's it for the Weekly Why. Best wishes, Shabbat Shalom, God bless.